is never too late to start learning English.
Welcome everyone to today's Easy English Motivation podcast. Today we are talking about a very important topic, learning English later in life. Many people think they are too old or too late to start learning English. But that is not true at all. In fact, many successful English learners started very late. They did not grow up speaking English, and they did not learn it in school. Some of them started learning in their 20s, 30s, or even 40s. What really matters is motivation and consistency. When you practice a little every day, your brain slowly becomes comfortable with the language. I want our listeners to understand that learning English is a journey. You do not need to be perfect at the beginning. Even small progress every day is powerful. So if you feel shy or afraid to start speaking English, remember that many people felt the same way before they improved.
That is such a powerful message, Jessie. I actually have a personal story about learning English late. When I was younger, I didn't pay much attention to English classes. I thought it was too difficult, and I believed that only very smart people could speak English fluently. But later, when I started working, I realized how important English was. Many opportunities required communication in English. At first, I felt very nervous. I couldn't understand movies, podcasts, or even simple conversations. But instead of giving up, I decided to start learning step by step. I listened to simple English podcasts every day, read short articles, and practiced speaking with friends. Slowly, I began to notice improvement. That experience taught me something important. It is never too late to start learning.
One of the biggest problems English learners face is fear. Many people understand some English, but they are afraid to speak. They worry about making mistakes or sounding strange. But the truth is that mistakes are a normal part of learning any language. When children learn their first language, they make many mistakes, but nobody laughs at them. Instead, they keep practicing and slowly improve. Language learning works the same way for adults. If you wait until your English is perfect before speaking, you may never start. It is much better to speak simple sentences and slowly build confidence. Every conversation you have will help you improve your pronunciation, vocabulary, and listening skills.
I completely agree with that. I remember the first time I tried to speak English in a real conversation. I was extremely nervous. I spoke very slowly, and sometimes I forgot simple words. But the person I was talking to was very patient. They encouraged me to continue speaking. That experience gave me confidence. After that, I started speaking English more often, even if my sentences were not perfect. Over time, my speaking became smoother and more natural. I realized that communication is more important than perfection. People usually care more about understanding your message than about small grammar mistakes. So the best advice I can give is simple. Speak as much as possible.
Another important part of learning English is daily practice. Many learners study for a few days and then stop for weeks or months. That makes progress very slow. Instead, it is much better to practice a little every day. Even 20 minutes of listening, reading, or speaking can make a big difference. For example, you can listen to English podcasts while walking, cooking, or traveling. You can also read simple English articles or watch videos with subtitles. These small habits train your brain to recognize English naturally. Over time, you will notice that you understand more words and phrases without translating them.
Yes, consistency is the key. When I started learning English seriously, I created a daily routine. Every morning, I listened to an English podcast for about 15 minutes. In the evening, I read short stories or articles in English. At first, I understood only a small percentage of what I heard. But I kept listening anyway. After several months, something amazing happened. I started recognizing more words automatically. My listening skills improved, and I felt more confident speaking. That experience showed me that regular exposure to English is very powerful. The more you hear the language, the more natural it becomes.
Learning a language takes time, and sometimes people lose motivation because they expect fast results. But language learning is not a race. It is a long journey that requires patience. Some days you may feel that you are improving quickly. Other days it may feel like you are not making progress at all. That is completely normal. The important thing is to continue practicing. Even when progress feels slow, your brain is still learning and building connections. One day, you may suddenly realize that you can understand conversations or express your ideas more easily. Those moments make all the effort worthwhile.
That's very true. I remember a moment when I realized my English had improved. I was watching a movie in English, and suddenly I noticed that I understood most of the dialogue without subtitles. Felt amazing. I realized that all the listening practice had paid off. That moment gave me even more motivation to continue learning. I think every language learner experiences these breakthrough moments eventually. They remind us that our effort is not wasted. So if you ever feel discouraged, remember that progress is happening even when you cannot see it immediately.
To everyone listening today, we want to remind you that learning English is possible for anyone. It doesn't matter where you come from or how old you are. What matters most is your willingness to learn and practice. Start with simple materials that match your level. Listen to clear and slow conversations. Repeat sentences out loud and try to imitate the pronunciation. These small steps can gradually build strong language skills.
Exactly. And remember, every fluent English speaker was once a beginner. Nobody starts perfectly. The important thing is to stay curious and enjoy the learning process. Celebrate small achievements, like understanding a new word or having a short conversation. Those small wins will keep you motivated. If you continue practicing consistently, you will be surprised by how much your English improves over time.